चरण बिना मुझे Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we have been applying ourselves to the question, why do the good people suffer? And to answer that question, we have tried to understand human beings from a particular aspect, which is their aggressive and passive natures. Passive humans are those who function on their mind. That means on conditioning, on the past, on what is right and what is wrong. Right and wrong in the sense of, isn't this correct to do? That kind of right and wrong. Is that correct for him to do? That kind of right and wrong. This is all mind-led. This is my duty. This is not my duty. It's all mind-led because it is all based on conditioning. It's not based on having given it some thought, having understood what these things are, but just you decided something is your duty. And you will die and you'll kill other people over it. Over my duty, my duty. I just fallen in love with something. So passive people function like that. They don't think. They're used to something and they'll continue doing that thing. Such kind of people can do good things or bad things. There is no a passive person. That means someone functioning on conditioning may do good things like charitable things, helpful things, doing what he calls his duty, all this, and still be extremely passive in the sense he's mind-led. He can do good things or he can do bad things. Both conditions, he's only doing what he is conditioned to do. Then there's another type of human being, very few of them, but they think it through. Like Elon Musk, for instance, he wanted to make a rocket, he wanted to do space. But he didn't say, oh my God, I want to do space, but the government won't let me, and so one will stop me, and I don't have the money to do it. No grumbling and complaining. He went down to first principles. He said, okay, what is required for a rocket? What's making it so expensive? He figured it out. He figured out what he needs to do, and he's put something out there in space. I mean, iconic because he actually did something that no individual thought that they would be able to do. Now, good and bad is not under discussion. The point is he figured it out. Whatever he wanted to do, he simply figured out how it can be done. Passive people will say, oh, I can't do it. It is so sad. The government stops me. People are not supporting me. My mother is like this. My father is like this. My husband is like this. My wife is like this. My children are like this. Oh, it's very exhausting to be with passive people because they don't let up on the grumbling and the complaining and behaving as if they're such great victims of everything. So the aggressive person figures out what is the problem and deals with it. Now, such a person may do it for good or for bad. 90% of aggressive people will only do it for selfish purposes because they've figured out the Maha Mantra. They are going to make the big bucks out of it. The rest of us will be chaff. They have the capacity to do this because they use their head. For such people, the other people are mere pawns. That's what's happening to us. If there's somebody aggressively bad in our government, in business, anywhere, we will just be chaff before him, to be chopped up at his will. Then we'll again start grumbling and complaining, oh, the government is so bad, politicians are so bad. This is the nature of passive people. They just start grumbling and complaining about it. That's all they know how to do. So, what do? You see a problem? Figure it out. Be aggressive. Figure out what needs to be done and do it. Don't go by, oh, ऐसे करना चाहिए, वैसे करना चाहिए, ऐसे होना चाहिए, ऐसे होना नहीं चाहिए. Don't waste time, please. What is your problem? Figure it out. That is called using your head. Don't keep telling us. I hear people years and years and years they're telling me the same problem. Years and years and years they come to me and say, oh, help me, help me. I've given up. Very frankly, I've given up. So forget it. I'm not wasting my time. Anyone who comes to me with help me, I say, thank you very much. I have no capacity to do so. How is it possible? You don't want to help yourself. Nobody can help you. So, what happens in life is the aggressive people can prey very easily on the passive. The only solution to this is for us to become aggressive. Aggressive doesn't mean we get up and start fighting. Please, aggressive people are the last people to fight. Remember, Krishna is ranchod. He ran away from a battle. So don't think aggressive means you get up and fight. Aggressive means you use this. Figure it out. Don't go on telling me how bad some situation is. Really, everybody's fed up with listening to how bad your situation is. Either you figure it out or you don't. Either way, it's your life. It's just your life. So I hope your takeaway from this whole thing is that don't go by what you think is right, what you believe is right, by what you think is your duty, but you're able to figure out that in this context, in this place, in this particular situation, what is that thing, that one thing which I need to do? I do hope this is your takeaway from this portion. Okay, so let's read further. Who will read the next?
Janki, can I read? The epic Mahabharata presents a picture of the passive and aggressive nature of human beings. The royal cousins Pandavas and Kauravas in the epic represents these two categories. The Pandava princes were distinct in their passive goodness and the Kauravas in their aggressive badness. Consequently, the Pandavas suffered untold humiliation at the hands of Kaurava prince Duryodhana. He was a clear specimen of aggressive badness. He schemed and planned the destruction of his passive good cousins. Further, should I read?
Yes, go ahead.
The Pandavas sought the guidance of Lord Krishna. Krishna was a personification of aggressive goodness. He employed his intellect effectively to destroy the vicious plan of the aggressive bad. Krishna relieved the sufferings of the Pandavas and resurrected righteousness in the country. Here he says that aggressive good can manipulate and scheme and abuse passive good people. And one
abuse.
They mistreat passive good people. Aggressive bad.
Aggressive bad. How? Yes, okay.
Aggressive bad people, they manipulate and they scheme and then they abuse passive good people. But one aggressive person can have the situation and take it out from you from that situation and help the society.
Very good.
Thank you.
So that is our solution, to turn aggressively good, to turn into good people who use their intellect for the welfare of everybody. So we need one person. If you have just one person doing this, that entire situation will come through well. But unfortunately, nobody wants to put in that kind of effort. So sad. It's heartbreaking, actually. Every human being is born as a gift to humanity. Every one of us was born like that. People were so happy when we were born, isn't it? We are so happy when our children are born. Every single human born is a great gift to humanity. However, it's a gift. It has to be unwrapped. Each one of us has that gift, and we have to unwrap it. We have to unravel it. And when you unravel this gift, you really be something that humanity should be proud of. In Shakespeare's words, that all humanity will stand up and say, here is a man. Just a man. Man means just a human being. That is our birthright. We were born to be that gift. The problem is we have to put in effort to be that gift. And we'd rather be the junk of humanity than put in the effort to get what is our birthright. It is our birthright. We were born as a gift. Let's put in that effort and be the gift that we were born to be. And that effort is in turning aggressive good, to figure out what needs to be done and do it. That's why even when we do karma together, when we do volunteer work together, nobody tells you what you need to do. Just put your hands there and get to work. Whatever you feel is a lacuna and how things are happening, fix it. Don't go on saying, oh, ye nahi mil raha, wo nahi mil raha, ye nahi ho raha, wo nahi ho raha. Just, if you see a lacuna, fix it. Oh, I couldn't do anything because nobody gave me this and nobody gave me that. We'll get nowhere. Get moving. Put in the effort. Do whatever you think needs to be done. Don't wait for someone else to come and do it. Then we become the gifts ourselves. We don't wait for any prophets to descend upon us. We don't wait for the government to look after us. We don't hero worship anyone. India, we love that. How we love hero worshipping. We say, you're so great, you do everything. This is the height of tamas. Get down to doing it. Be that person who you're looking everywhere for. You are that person. Be it. That should be your takeaway from understanding aggressive goodness. Okay, so I hope it is clear. This whole section, by now we have done a fair degree of thinking and talking on it. So I hope it is clear. Right, so can we move on? Who will read?
I can do it.
Go ahead, please.
Joy of learning. The knowledge of Vedanta confers aggressive goodness on you, a knowledge that develops a powerful intellect, which clearly distinguishes virtue from vice, provides you the guidelines to destroy evil and protect the good. Thereafter, you will not be victimized by anyone, nor would you victimize others. You would mean and do good to the society, become a beacon of knowledge and virtue for the rest of the world to follow. So the meaning is that once you are on this path of knowing the knowledge of Vedanta, it gives you the aggressive goodness which you are supposed to have, and it develops that aggressive goodness in you, which helps you distinguish between virtue and vice. And you will also not be either a victim or nor will you victimize others. And hence you become a beacon of knowledge and virtue for others.
Yes, very good. And there's a very interesting, very good, Kalyan Kumar, very interesting statement here. which is you mean and do good. Very, very interesting, because normally we are all running to do good or we are meaning to do good. But mean to do good and do good are very, very few people in this world. Those who mean to do good end up sometimes doing bad. Sometimes you don't even mean to do good. Or you just mean to do good and you do nothing at all. So, mean to do good and do good. You intend to do good and you're able to execute that goodness. Because many of us, I think we would all, as people in the class at least, mean to do good. We intend to do good. But what we end up doing is sometimes not good at all. So I'm sure everybody in the class does not want to fight, does not want to get angry, does not want to be gossip, does not want to. No, nobody in this class would want to do anything negative. If you were the kind of person who liked to do negative things, it's not consistent with your like of Vedanta. We don't want to. None of us wish to be rude and mean and cruel. None of us want to. We end up being. Don't you catch yourself saying and doing things that you really don't wish to say and you really don't wish to do? Why is it? Because we've not developed that art. When you mean to do good and you do good. This can only come if what?
Turn aggressive good.
If we turn aggressive good. And the method to become aggressive good is
Knowledge of Vedanta.
knowledge of Vedanta. But the saddest tragedy of this whole process is that
no one wants to put the effort.
we all got the knowledge, we all came for the knowledge of Vedanta, but none of us became aggressively good. That is the biggest tragedy. Reshma, we went to Vedanta, we read it, we studied it so dedicatedly. I know you all come to class. Most of the people I see, the same names. I mean, people who, of course, I know now, all the same people come again and again and again, consistently keeping up with the classes. And yet, how many of us can claim to be aggressively good? So, though Vedanta is available for us, though our own desire is available, you're coming to Vedanta because your desire is there, then Vedanta is available to us, freely available to us. The best of humanity is freely available to you. Then how is it that your desire is there, Vedanta is there, and you're still not aggressively good? How is it?
Is it that we are not reflecting enough?
We are not?
Reflecting enough?
Yes, we are not doing everything that we need to do. We all have these great desires, but we don't do what we need to do. Desires don't give us things. It is work that gives us things. So what is the work? You'll have to do your reflection. Then begin by understanding. Then do voluntary work. It's not so many people still from classes who are doing voluntary work. How many of us are there today? We are 60 people here. 60 people who were working for Vedanta. Where would Vedanta be? What is the contribution we make to Vedanta? We're not doing the work. So you have to do your reflection, you have to do the work for Vedanta, means for a cause in life. And you have to do your bhajans. The whole sadhana you have to do, right? And we have to do this on a daily basis. Every single day. You want to be the gift that you were for the world, then you have to put in this effort. Otherwise it won't be. Simply won't be. Desire is there, Vedanta is there, there will be no connection between these two things. That is the worst of it all. Absolutely the worst of it all, because so close and so far. So close and so far. Yes, Harish, aggressive good is the result of selflessness. Yes, that's correct. But even your selflessness will not give aggressive goodness unless you use your intellect with it. Because you can do a lot of things very, very unselfishly, very much for the welfare of others. But if you don't use your head while you do it, then it will still not be aggressive good. So I don't know what you mean by selflessness. If by selflessness you mean use of intellect, then yes, aggressive goodness is the result of a pure mind and a sharp intellect. Both these things have to be there, and then you become aggressively good. Okay, so now when we talk about this effort, nobody wants to put in the effort. Why does nobody want to put in the effort? Is it because we don't have time? Many people will do, oh, I don't have the time. Is it because we don't have the time? Why do you think we don't put in the effort?
Lack of a higher goal.
Oh, all that will come in the effort itself. But why don't we put in the effort? Why do you think?
I think
We don't want to get
well,
out of home.
Maybe the guidance
it's in
is
conflict
lacking.
with their
How
conditioning.
to move.
Wait, go one by one. Okay, Rajesh. Yeah, Rajesh, go ahead. Why don't we put in the effort?
Well, I think in a lot of situations it's in conflict with our conditioning.
No, that is the effort.
So we tend to think in a specific way, whereas
all that is part of effort, Rajesh, but we don't do that. So what's the effort? So why are we not putting in the effort to sort of going against our conditioning and all? That's what the effort is. Kinnari, what's your reply? Why don't we put in the effort?
Desires, we get distracted.
All that is not getting distracted with your desires is the effort. Not getting out of your comfort zone, Anita, is the effort. I'm asking y'all, why are we not putting in the effort?
Because we
this
does
effort,
Go
this
one by
effort
one.
will
Please
not
raise your
give.
hand so that I can ask you. Kinnari, you wanted to say something? You haven't. So now let's see who else. Shanta, we are passive. Yes. So since we are passive, we need to put in effort. We will not put in the effort. Yes, Aditi, what is your?
This effort may not give immediate results against the something which we are doing for the worldly things. This might we have to put in without getting instant gratification.
Okay, so rather than the latter part of your answer is correct. It is because we do not associate any joy with that effort. We think that it's trouble. Oh, itna kaam kaun karega? We think of it as trouble. So pig's contentment desires are greater than mumukshvatva. Yes, that is correct. Desires are greater than mumukshvatva, of course, correct. But that's true for everybody at all times, right? So why will we not put it? Confusion, Nanda, too many questions is a very good point, Nanda, that we all suffer from that confusion. However, the effort is in trying to not be confused. Nobody asks me this question. Nobody asks in class any question, or very few people ask in class any question which shows me they mean business. Like, I'm here to do something, and this is what is blocking me, and please tell me what to do about that particular thing. Nobody asks those kind of questions. So we know that nobody is putting in the effort yet. So yes, you're right, Nanda, insofar as there's confusion. But has anyone even asked this question in class? I'm so confused about various things. How do I sort this confusion out? Nobody's asking me practical, down to earth, help me with this particular thing. Nobody asks questions like that. You hear it in class, right? In fact, some people will ask questions in class, but will not even take the trouble of going to group discussion to get their questions answered. Will not take the trouble of coming to a question answer session to deal with those questions. Because those things require we apply some amount of discipline to those questions. No, I don't want to put in any. I'm going to sit back on my armchair and ask you questions, you answer. It won't work, unfortunately. Yes, all of you are right insofar. Or attachment, inertia. Yes, all of these are correct, but that is true for everybody. You and I, we all have got attachment, we have inertia, we have desires, we have everything. We don't put in the effort to work against it because we do not associate any pleasure with that effort. The day you will associate pleasure with that effort, you will put in that effort. You have to make that association in your mind. Doing volunteer work is pleasure. Doing study is pleasure. You have to associate the pleasure. Shan, effort lack due to not able to choose which way we can help and what we are good at that society requires. This is Shan. Shan, are you new to class? I don't remember seeing you. Where are you? Are you around here?
Yes, ma'am. I'm new to this class. Shanti.
Okay. Oh, Shanti. Okay.
Sir.
All right. So Shanti, are we supposed to call you Shan or Shanti?
It's Shanti. Shanti.
Shanti. Okay. So Shanti, the effort is lack, you said, is due not to be able to choose which way we can help. For such a person, the effort is to make that choice, to get rid of that confusion. Okay, so you can suppose, let's say for instance, any person in this class says, I would really like to work for Vedanta, but I don't know what to do. Then we can answer that question and tell you what you can do. But nobody asked that question. Ask the question, how are we ever going to find out? What are we good at? If I don't know what I'm good at, which society requires, there is ways to deal with that, but people don't ask that question. The simplest way to do it is whatever problem you're currently seeing, attend to it. Pick up any one problem or whatever you're currently seeing, which you feel is a problem. Just attend to it.
Okay.
And further it will develop. But all that is effort. It's so much easier to tell us. Everybody tells us why we cannot put in effort. Nobody says, please tell me how to put in effort. Do you see the difference between our constant grumbling about things and the kind of people who mean business? Who take something up and do it and not tell us why it cannot be done, but do the thing which can be done. It could be as simple as just asking a question, such as you go to Bharat and say, Bharat, I'd like to do something for Vedanta. What can I do? So Bharat may tell you, well, I don't know what you can do. I really don't know. Then what will you do? Suppose he answers your question like that. Then what will you do?
Ask you.
Yeah, take another step. Just take another step. Oh, Bharat never told me what to do. I asked him. Then he told me to do IT work, but I don't know IT work, so I couldn't do anything. Means you've not associated effort with pleasure yet. So what is Swamiji telling us in this topic? It's called joy of learning. You've associated joy so far with going to class, but you haven't associated joy yet with what comes after class. Now we are starting this book, How Do You Know What You Know? It was written with the great hope that it will help people understand Vedanta. But that hope has never been fulfilled because there is nothing anyone can do that can replace the individual's effort. Now, those of you who like these classes will probably come to that class too. But if you bring the same lack of effort to that class as you have brought to these classes, then the answer will continue to elude us. Hopefully, when you do that book, at least there will be no confusion. Thank you, Deepa. Associating effort with joy is not what I am saying, Deepa. I love the way you people all think that I'm really brilliant. All I do is parrot what I am told. So I know it appears like, oh wow, that's so good. This
We are aware of that, Janki ji, but even then, it's you who's getting to us. So
okay, fine. So it's written in the book. I'm only telling you what is written in the book. So this is the topic we are doing: joy of learning.
the impact may not be the same if we just read it without you.
Okay, Deepa, you read it with reflection, the impact will be much higher. I love to take all your compliments. It feels wonderful how sweetly you all tell me all these wonderful things. And really, it feels wonderful. Thank you very much for all the nice things you say to me. However, I need to take them with a pinch of salt because just reading the book, if you read the book, you'll get the same thing. So, joy of learning, that's what he's talking about. It's the joy of learning. Vedanta will confer on us aggressive goodness, and we will not put the effort because we don't associate the joy with it. Okay, so associate joy with it. You want to move forward, say to yourself, getting up in the morning and studying is the single most joyful thing that a human being can do. Don't say to yourself over and over again that, oh my God, I have to get up in the morning and study. I can't get up in the morning and study, so I cannot learn Vedanta. So ho gaya baat, finished, completed. Thoda grumble kiya, thoda complain kiya, ho gaya, come. Okay, so who will read the next para?
Janki, I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead, Omkar.
Yes. So the joy is a result or joy is the decision? And if joy is the decision, isn't it a mind-led activity?
No, not at all. In fact, it's very, very strange. The joy of something comes when it's an intellect-led activity. And what is the joy? The joy is in every aspect of it. It is one of the problems of Vedanta. We haven't met this problem of Vedanta yet, but hopefully we will meet it in some time. The biggest problem of Vedanta is every bit of it is just joy and more joy and more joy. That's the study is joy, the effort is joy. The bhaktas, who have a beautiful way of putting everything. Anyone who has finely developed emotions can put things in very beautiful ways. That's why the authors and the creative people, they put things so well because well-developed emotion. So they have a very nice way of putting it. So in the Bhakti Yoga path, they say, Adharam Madhuram. What is it? Where is our bhaktas, all of them?
Adharam Madhuram, Vadanam Madhuram, Hasitam Madhuram, Gamanam Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam Madhuram.
Madhuradhipate, Akhilam Madhuram. Akhilam Madhuram. The whole thing is Madhuram. The whole thing is sweet. Every bit of it is sweet. The decision is sweet. The effort is sweet. The result is sweet. The people you meet is sweet. Everything is sweet. In that poem, it's very, very thing. He is saying, Vamanam Madhuram. Vamanam is vomit. Vamanam Madhuram. Vomiting is sweet. The Lord's everything is sweet. Why do people worship Shiva? Shiva is auspiciousness. And what is Shiva? It's destruction. Destruction is auspicious. Adharam Madhuram, Vadanam Madhuram, Hasitam Madhuram. Everything is Madhuram. Whether he smiles or laughs or cries or sings or vomits, everything is Madhuram. This is a problem. But we must first get to that problem, then we will solve the problem. When it seems to you that the greatest joy in your life is to get up in the morning and study, is to live a life of service, to purify your emotions to such a point that you're not asking anybody for anything. And your greatest joy is in just giving your heart to people. Adaram madhuram. Nayanam. Adaram means under the lip, the below lip. Everything is, the face is madhuram, everything is madhuram. So in answer to your question, Omkar, that joy is revealed to us when we use our intellect. Otherwise, that joy is hidden from us. Our lives are just agitation, agitation, agitation. Wherever there's agitation, that is the mind. It is a disgrace to be agitated. It's a disgrace. That means you're totally mind-led. How can anyone be unhappy in this most beautiful, in this most wonderful world? Unless you are mind-led. Unless you are mind-led. So if you the joy of life is always in using the intellect. That's the joy. It is that effort. It is that slightly more. You ask Bharat, what is the joy? Bharat, what is the joy of lifting weights? When do you get the joy of lifting weights?
The whole process is a joy.
Yeah, but when is the joy? You get the absolute joy of lifting weight.
When you sweat.
When you're doing it.
When you sweat.
You're doing what?
When you're under the pump.
When you're doing that little bit more than you are capable of doing. Isn't it? That joy that you just challenged yourself and met that challenge. Same thing at the mental level. You challenge yourself for that little bit more than you're capable. Keeping your temper a little bit more than you're capable. Keeping your love going a little bit more than you're capable. Keeping your head going a little bit more than you're capable. You push yourself up. That's the process. For everything. It's no different. It's the same thing for everything. That's how you grow physically, that's how you grow mentally, and that's how you grow intellectually. Fortunately for us, and that's why the laws of Vedanta are so simple, is because the same laws are applicable everywhere. There's no difference. So, Omkar, when you use your intellect, the joy unfolds. When you use your mind, horrible agitations unfold. So, if you're finding joy, you're using your head. It's not that you're using your heart. If you use your heart, huge agitations will follow. If you use your head, huge amount of pleasure will follow. So don't say, oh, lots of happinesses come, so I use my mind. No, not at all. Just the opposite. Okay, clear?
Yes, but I'm not clear whether joy is a result or is it a decision?
The decision gives you joy.
The decision to do it joyfully gives you the joy, is it?
Not the decision to do it joyfully. The decision means you see what an issue is, you decide what you want to do about that issue, and then you execute it. When you execute it, you will feel a deep sense of satisfaction.
But did you not just say that why can't we do things is because we don't associate joy with it?
Yes, you don't. That's why you don't do it. Therefore, you don't get the joy out of it. You just complain and grumble. Or sometimes people pretend the problem doesn't exist. These are our two options. There are two kinds of people. One who constantly grumbling about a problem, and the second who claim that no, everything's okay, nothing's the problem, I'm fine. These are the only two type of people who exist. And therefore nobody's problems are ever solved.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Bharat, you wanted something? Mayur, I'll come to you. What about
Yes.
Bharat? What did you want to say?
Yes, so the measure of turning aggressive good would be that one is able to do the right thing at the right time.
You're able to take the right action, execute the right action, feel the pleasure of the right action, and feel the pleasure of the joy of having got the right result. You knew what you were doing, you did it, the result came, you are happy, you did it, you are happy. Madhuram, Madhuram, everything is Madhuram. Versus the other kind of people who do not take the right action, so they're miserable because they did not take the right action. Then the results come which are really bad, so they're miserable again. So they're miserable, miserable, miserable. And sometimes they say, oh, be positive. Everything that happens, happens for good. Whenever people tell me that, I feel like giving them a tight whack. You do something idiotic, you get something bad as a consequence of it, and then you say, whatever happens, happens for the good. पागल है कि क्या है? Cannot understand. Am I being too critical today?
No, we get it. Thank you.
Okay, Mayur, what do you want to say?
Anna, I was just saying that the idea of focusing on joy, which we get out of a result with an incremental, the problem is you can get carried away by the result of it, right? The joy is the result of the action rather than not the purpose of the action, I believe, the way I see it. So which is why, isn't it a better idea?
No, yeah, you're right. That is a problem. I started by telling you it's a problem. It's a problem that you will become so happy if you just learn to choose the right action. What happens when you choose the right action is you get this huge satisfaction of having cracked a code. It's like a riddle, right? What do you do? What do you do in this condition? You crack the code. When you crack the code, you're just delighted you cracked the code. So you did whatever you needed to do. So obviously your door opened, whatever door it was. So you got happiness in every sense of the term.
Yeah, but next again, we have to start doing what we have to do. The problem is the celebration tends to take us off track, doesn't it? That's why, I don't know, it's a better idea not to.
Yes, it is a problem because then you think, oh, ab sab theek hai. No, please get down to the next problem. It is a problem. But we are at the moment not at that problem. We are at the problem where I'm totally agitated. That is the problem.
No, I've been through it a few times. I've learned my lessons. That's why I'm telling you that.
Right? Okay, great. So then go to the next problem. Just keep solving them.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Yeah, keep going ahead. दुख में सुमिरन सब करे, सुख में करे न कोई, जो सुख में सुमिरन करे, दुख काहे को होए. Why am I going to get agitated? Why am I going to find the problem and then solve it? Keep doing the right thing on a daily basis. No problems are coming our way. And when the problems do come our way, they are too small for us to even consider them a problem. We say, yeah, I can handle this. Fine, it's okay. That's why you feel find people, if you know people who are developed, you take them some major problem and they're just okay with it because they know they can handle it. Can you imagine you take a problem to Krishna? Is he going to start feeling very sorry that there's a problem? He knows he can handle it.
Just one more point, if it was it, that the fact that you said that people don't ask the right questions is that because the last 2-3 times when I asked and the answer was almost always that do your daily practice, and it's a fact that it is the right answer. Just continue with your practice. So most of the questions get answered anyways via that. That is the reason we will most probably just be sitting in the background and not asking the right questions.
Please, I'm not trying to say, if they would, in the normal course of events, as you study Vedanta, as you attend the classes, everything should just get better and better and better. Not because you're enjoying the class, but life itself has got sorted out. But at least for the people who approach me, I find that they're staying with their problems. I'm hearing the same problem over and over and over again. I don't know what's happening to everybody else because everybody else isn't speaking to me. But for the people who are speaking to me, I'm like, what happened? We did this in class. I'm amazed to find how few people know what we did in class. It always amazes me, which shows how bad my assessment is. Amazed. You just finished a topic in class. It's like somebody's going to ask me in the next 10 days, why do good people suffer? What were we doing in class all this time? Do you mind? Do you mind listening? You're so carried away with what is going on that nobody's listening. I get questions, okay? That's why I've told these people, don't give my phone number, because I get questions on WhatsApp. The only thing I understand from those questions is, you didn't hear a word of what happened in class. Okay, suppose I say, X is defined as Y. I'll get a question, which is, since Z is Y, what? I told you X is defined as Y. Now you're asking me, since Z is Y, therefore something. So I know exactly how much you have heard. I'll say, Sattva is this. Rajas is this. So I get a question. Since, I find it, I don't know what to say. I don't want to hurt anybody, because if I say anything, then I know that the person is in the class and I'm not making fun of the question. I just want you all to know that please pay attention. That's all I want you to know. It's not to make fun of anybody. It's like, let's not waste your time and let's not waste my time, and let's just get the job done. Okay, so whatever stops you from the job, take help for it, but first listen to the point, then talk. So if all those who are finding that their lives are getting better because of the knowledge of Vedanta, you studied something, you applied it, and everything got better, you all are doing great, please keep on the track. When you do great, don't give up your Vedanta studies, but continue doing them so that every future problem will also appear as absolutely nothing. Those who have studied Vedanta and have not found their lives getting just way better, not this positive thinking nonsense, but life itself is better, speak to me. This is like apne pair par kuladi marna. Speak to me. I will tell you where, according to me, something is going wrong. Implement that, and don't talk to me until you've implemented it. If you implement it and if you find anything got better, great, go ahead and do it. If you implemented it, you found it didn't work, talk to me again. We'll work our way through this. But don't stick with the same problem over years and years and years. It's like, are you mad or something? If your problem exists for more than 6 months, think you're a mad person and do something about it. Okay, Rajesh. I don't know if anyone will want to talk to me.
May I ask a question, Deepika?
1 second, Deepika.
Yes,
Rajesh.
Yeah, Jankaji, I had a question that is more in terms of the confusion aspects that someone brought up. So when we're talking about our act bringing joy to what we're doing, right, as an aggressively good act, but can it get unhappiness to people around you? I mean, so
it can.
So if that it can, right? So if that is the situation, would it still be deemed as an aggressively good act? Is it just an individual perspective, or is it the perspective which is more a societal perspective? So I'm just trying to, because a lot of our actions have got a bearing on how people react around us, right? I mean, so how do we address that? Because then it could be a deterrent for doing a similar act going forward as well. Because obviously it has you are happy doing that task, but obviously people around you are not unhappy with what the action that you've taken. How do we address that aspect of it? Let's take the example of demonetization.
Don't take examples. If the question is clear, why take an example? It is possible that you do something correctly and people around you are affected, unhappy, or miserable because you did this. But if this misery of theirs is continuing for more than 6 months, then you have to revise your action. 6 months is a very long time. People can be miserable with you for a day, for 2 days, for a week maybe. But if it's more than that, you really have to go and figure out, why have I troubled these people? Why could not I have done it in a way that without troubling anyone, I can still do the right action? Is my intellect such a pauper that I cannot make people around me happy? I can't think of any option by which, what is that? Lathi bhi, whatever. help somebody.
सांप मर जाए लाठी भी ना टूटे.
सांप मर जाए पर लाठी भी ना टूटे.
Translation, please.
Oh, sorry, Marge. That the snake is killed and the stick is not broken. Assumably, when you kill the snake, not a very pretty thing to say, but when you kill the snake, then the stick breaks. But if you don't, how can you get rid basically of the snake without creating trouble? So you got to figure that out. If your actions are creating problems for others for more than I'm saying 6 months, which is a long time. If it's for more than a week, you have to revise what you're doing. But 6 months, like, I don't know what is the action you took. I don't know for what reason you took it. And therefore, I'm giving a long rope, 6 months. If within 6 months, your spouse, your children, your parents, your people are not happy with you, you're doing something wrong. You can't really make that statement, but you have to revise. Am I doing the right thing really? I'm creating this much sorrow because of me for 6 months.
But doesn't it also depend on the intellectual level of the people around you? I mean, if they're not able to comprehend what your actions are, then...
No, not at all.
No.
Think of Krishna, okay? Just think of Krishna. What is Krishna's level? What is the gopis level? These gopis don't have much brains at all. They don't have an intellect, forget having any of. There is no brains to talk of. He has 16,000 wives. None of whom, except for Rukmani, none of whom are known to have any brains. All of them are entirely happy with him. A child which is well disciplined by the parent is a happy child. It is a spoiled child which is an unhappy child. If I have been disciplined myself and therefore been able to discipline others, the joy that is unfolded in my life is the joy that is unfolded in their life.
Okay, got it, Janki. Thank you.
Janki, related to this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so if after a period of time your review still tells you that you've done the right decision, then you stick by it, right?
Yes, your decision is paramount. However, please don't decide things in a vacuum. Don't. We don't live in a vacuum. We live in society. So please reconsider many times if your results are not bringing commensurate joy to you and to everybody else. What are you leaving unturned? What is that thing? Why is it that this person? That doesn't mean we make it the purpose of our life to be for other people to be happy. We cannot make anyone happy. However, you must know what is you must know this, right? Suppose somebody is chronically a complaining person. There is nothing you can do to make that person stop complaining. You cannot go mad trying to make that person stop complaining. But even that very complaining type has a low level of complaining and a high level of complaining. You can maintain it at low level of complaining to some extent. And there will be times where you have to take harsh decisions and that level will go high. Let it go high. It doesn't matter. The person will soothe down. It's very difficult to answer generally what is a person's specific issue. So if anyone has a specific issue, then it has to be asked specifically, because the intellect cannot make judgments in a vacuum. It needs the data. How can you make? It's like telling a doctor, give me something to make me healthy. The doctor's first question is, what do you mean you're unhealthy? Please tell me what's happening to you.
Okay.
When are you available to ask you?
My job, Marge, in life is to make sure nobody asks me. But I'm always available, as you know. Pick up the phone and call me. I'm always available.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's finish joy of who's going to read the next thing? Where did it go? Who's going to read the next paragraph?
Shankiji, Deepika and Nanda had questions.
Oh, is it? Okay, Deepika and Nanda, please. Deepika, sorry.
Yes,
Deepika.
ma'am. No problem, ma'am. This
Thank
has to
you,
do, my
ma'am.
question has to do with joy of learning, ma'am. You said that we should, when we associate action with joy, then we are enthused about doing it. Right? Now, my question is, ma'am, maybe you have already addressed this question, but maybe I've missed it or I've not understood it. That when I want to reflect, you said the main crux of the study is to reflect, to do my sadhana. I have not understood how I should do my sadhana. Or is it the same as manana? Like what you're teaching us is Shravan. Are you referring to manana that we have to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Manana in English is reflection.
Is reflection. So if we say manana of Vedanta, I wake up in the morning and I read and think about what is being said in the book, that is manana?
That's right.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
And Nanda?
Yeah, Janki, it is like review in 6 months on that only. And after 6 months, if one feels that right, which means you are on the right, your thoughts are right, so you just go ahead with it still.
It
Because
depends,
two people,
Nanda. It's very difficult for me to answer a general question if you have something specific in mind. There's no rule that can be made about it. 6 months was only mentioned as a long rope. You've given it a long rope. That's basically it. You will always do what you think is right. You should always be doing what you think is right. First day or 6 months later.
because
If
two
you're not
different.
getting results, you really need to review what's going on here.
But two people could be thinking on different lines for the same thing.
Of course, of course.
So then it would not match at all, even after a long period of time.
Why should it match? What is the necessity of matching?
So I couldn't be the cause of unhappiness then. That person is it's on themselves, how they make themselves happy. Because if it's my duty to keep myself happy, and
it's your duty to keep yourself happy first, and it's also your duty to keep other people happy.
Yes, other people happy, but not at the cost of suffering for me.
Of course, your first duty is to be happy.
So which means then it is like first and foremost would come, like if it's the right, in general, the right thing to be done, and it is being done, and still if it is causing unhappiness, means then I am not the cause of the unhappiness for the other person.
No, because it is not in general. It is in that specific case. Let's say that, okay, I have no interest in going to movies. Okay, I think 3 hours of watching a movie is a complete waste of time. And I could be completely right about that. I mean, like, why would I spend 3 hours to get an idea which I could get from somebody in 3 minutes? So why would I spend 3 hours? However, let us say that my husband is very fond of movies and he would really like to go for a movie. So my best case scenario is you love to see movies, go ahead and see them. But he has a more complex desire. He doesn't just want to go see a movie. He wants it to be like a social event. He needs his wife with him and blah, blah. I'm just making this up, please, everybody. Please don't think that my husband likes to see movies. We are fortunate that neither of us like to see movies, but I'm just making up this story that he loves it. And for him, it's a social event. Okay, his wife has to be there, and popcorn has to be there, and his friends have to be there, and that is the joy of seeing the movie for him. All right, now I could be very correct in saying that what a waste of time is that. Maybe, and for me, maybe it is, but for him, it is something else. And I have tied myself to this person now who thinks this way. I should have thought before I tied myself to this person, right? Was it not up to me to take the responsibility? If I'm getting married to somebody, am I not now responsible for this person's happiness? I go and marry somebody who wants something completely different from me. Now I will pay the price. Please pay that price because you agreed to this deal. You took it on for yourself, for your life. You did it. Don't say he's like that. You chose him. Now you live with it. Or withdraw gracefully. Say that I'm sorry, I made a terrible mistake. accept my apologies. I'm really sorry about this. I've done something very wrong. I want out. But don't please destroy each other's lives. Both parties should be happy. Every human being has the right to be happy. We cannot take away anybody's right. Not that person's, not my own. Okay, so now most of us don't want to break up a marriage because our husband would want to watch movies. So what do? We say, okay, let's figure this thing out. Is it okay if I come with you for this sort of thing once a month or once in 2 months? And the other times, maybe you can go on your own. Maybe I will organize the whole thing. I will make sure all your friends come. I will call them. You'll all come here for dinner after that. Whatever. Figure out a way that both parties are happy. Don't start with, oh, I am right, you are wrong. That is such a cruel way of living life. It's not I am right and you are wrong. It is, we are in this together. How do we figure out a way that both of us can be happy? Okay, Nanda?
It is like over a period of time, people can change. Their thoughts can change, the behavior can change. Like for me, if I take this now, I love attending the Vedanta, the Gita classes and all those things. Not necessarily that my partner would like it. So here there cannot ever be a common ground, because it's not that some days he listens to it and some days he doesn't. And
so demand that your partner should come with you to Vedanta class.
No, I don't.
Your spiritual journey is single.
Yeah.
If your partner is not telling you to come to watch a movie while your class is on, you should say thank you very much.
No, there is a lot of criticism where the understanding is not there. This is okay. I like doing it. I should be left alone to do it. So
yes,
it's not
when your behavior changes, they will be convinced about the need of the class. They will say, oh my God, so let's say for argument's sake, that your husband says, what a stupid thing you're doing to go to Vedanta class. Don't argue with him. Just go to the class. Say, okay, I may be stupid, but it's a little joy for me. Let me just do it. I'll come back and we'll do whatever else you want. Don't explain why you should go to Vedanta class. Nobody's interested in whether you go to Vedanta class or not. There is only one thing the whole world is interested in. You know what that thing is? There's only one thing every single one of us is interested in. You know what is that one thing?
Himself.
What?
Happiness.
Whether I'm happy.
Okay. The only thing you're interested in is, are you doing anything to fulfill my desires or not? When you make Vedanta class sound like an interruption to other people's desires, they'll be anti the class. If you make it sound like a fulfillment of their desires, they'll be pro the class. They're not interested in anything else. Stop convincing your family members that this is so good. Just tell them that by your going to the class, their desires are not going to be interrupted, whatever their desires are. Now, don't go and say that your desire will not be interrupted. Just don't interrupt their desires because of your class. They'll let you do your class. In fact, make it sound that because of the class, you are fulfilling their desires. अभी कभी तो दिमाग इस्तेमाल किया करो भैया. Know what to say, how to say, to whom to say, when to say. It's called aggressive goodness.
But then why should only one person think like that? Why can't the other then?
Okay, then you stay in that position. Say everybody else must become aggressively good. I will continue to be aggressive. But okay, fine. Whatever we want from others, let us first be ourselves. If we cannot do it, why would we think others would? And let us understand that by doing this, we will be happy. And if others don't, it's very sad for them. We are looking upon it as, by doing this, I'm so unhappy and he's so happy. We are looking at it wrong. When I do this, I will be happy and I will create happiness for you as well. So we are still not associating happiness with our work. We are thinking they are not doing it, no? That means they are the happy ones and we are the unhappy ones. How will our mind ever do that? Now, please go back and think.
Thank you.
Carry on.
Hari Om Janki ji.
Thank you, Janki ji.
Hari Om.
So nice.
Hari Om Janki ji, thank you.
Hari Om Janki ji.
Thank you, Janki ji.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you very much.
Hari Om Janki ji. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.